Hey guys, I want to talk to you all about ownership and taking ownership of your life and of your business. And you're thinking, well, why are you so much on ownership right now? Well, because there's a couple different reasons. One, it's because it's the way I've got to where I am today, and secondly, it's because so many men that I talk to today don't take ownership of what's going on in their business. Like they're ready to blame it on economics, inflation, workers, cost of everything. They're not taking ownership at all. They're looking outwards instead of inwards. If we want to go somewhere in our business, if we want to go somewhere in our life, if we want to get our family, together instead of being very chaotic when you come in the house, like we got to take ownership of it because we're the lead in our business and we're the lead in our life, in our family, right? Because we're the head of the household. So we don't take ownership inside the house and we don't take ownership inside our business. Guess what? It's nobody's fault but ours. But every time almost every person I talk to wants to look outwards. Well, it's my guy's fault. Well, it's my wife's fault. It's my kid's fault. They just don't listen. Guess what? If you're having problems at home with people not listening to you, you're going to have problems in your business with people not listening to you. And the reason why is because you're not taking ownership of anything. Like, people respect you a lot more when you say, you know what, this is my fault. I screwed this up. I did not take ownership of it. I did not tell you what I wanted. I did not sit down with you and go, okay, this is what I need y'all to do today. This is how I'd like for it to be done. This is what I need y'all to do. And this is what I like to accomplish. Most people just expect you to go out there and know exactly. You're a mind reader. You expect them to be a mind reader is what you expect. And you wonder why you're getting the results you're getting. So you have to take ownership of the failures in your business and in your family life. Because I know I do. As hard as it is sometimes, like it's not easy taking ownership because you got to go look at yourself in the mirror and go, it's me. It's not you, it's me. Because I know I've had to do that. You know what? This was my fault. I didn't check this. I just let it go. I assumed something and I assumed wrong. Like it's happened to me time and time again. But you know what I do? Instead of saying it was their fault, I say it was my fault. I should have been looking at that. I should have done this. I should have communicated it out in a way that they understood it, and I should have asked them some questions to make sure they understood what I said. No matter if it's in my business or in my family life. Like I have to make sure that I communicate in a way that they understood. And if I did not, it's my fault. It's not their fault, it's my fault. I am the leader in my business and I am the leader in my house. So if they're not following, it's because I'm not a good leader. That means I have to take ownership of that. That means I have to do what I know I need to do in order to take my business to where I want to take it to in my life. So you have to take ownership. It's the most important thing you'll ever do in your life. Because there's one thing that I've listened to. I've listened to a guy, and his name was Jocko Willink. He was a Navy SEAL. He talks about taking extreme ownership of everything he's ever did, because there was a battle that he was in, and he could have blamed it on his men, but instead he said, "Nope, it's my fault." Guys, we got to do the same thing in our business and in our home. We got to go. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm not making the money I should. I'm not growing the business the way I should. I'm not getting the guys to follow me. It's my fault. It's not their fault. It's my fault. And then when you go home, if your wife's not wanting, to follow your lead, and your kids aren't listening, instead of going, well, it's her fault. She's at the house with them. She ought to be able to do this. She ought to be able to do that. And then to come home and yell at the kids, guess what? It's not their fault. It's your fault. You're not showing up at home being the man that you need to be at home. You're just showing up expecting your wife to take care of everything and be the lead. Well, guess what? When she has to, sometimes it gets very chaotic. Because how do you expect her to do everything if you're not going to show up and take your lead? Like, you have to be willing to show up and take the lead. Because if you're not willing to show up and take the lead in your life, in your business, someone else is going to take the lead. And you may not like it. It's what's happening in your business right now. If you're not taking ownership of the failures, the things that have happened good, and the things that happen bad, especially things that happen bad, guess what? Someone else is taking a step up, and they're going to take your business in a whole different direction than you want to. And at the end of the day, it's your fault. Because you got to look in here. Like, if my business is not going the way I want to, it's my fault. It's not someone else's fault. It's my fault. So you have to take ownership of the results that you're looking for in your business and at your home, because that's the only way you're ever going to get to where you want to get to, is taking ownership of it. Because without taking ownership of the results that you're looking for, you're never going to get there. Because who's going to take ownership of the results you're looking for? You're looking for someone else to come in and make a miracle? You're looking for someone to come in and you just go, well, this is the results I want. Will you get them for me? Of course. I'll just be happy to go do that for you, and you don't have to do nothing. It doesn't work that way. Like, you have to take ownership of what you want in your life and what you want out of your life. If you're not willing to take ownership of it, you're not going to get it. It's just that simple, that easy. You have to be willing to stand up, look in that mirror, and say, you know what? It's the man I see in the mirror. It's not everybody else's fault. It's my fault. Because I didn't show up today at work. I didn't show up on the job site going, hey guys, this is what I need y'all to do today. This is how we want to do it. What did y'all understand what I just said? Instead of having communication and making sure you communicate in a way that they understood, and then had them repeat it back to you, ask some questions and make sure they really understood, you just went on your day and expect them to be mind readers. It doesn't work that way. Just like at home, you expect things to be done. How does anybody know when they got their own things to do, that they're supposed to just read your mind on what you want them to do? It doesn't work that way. And when you won't take extreme ownership in your business, guess what? You're not going to go where you want to go to, right? You're not going to be able to build the company you want to. You're not going to create the culture in your business that you want to create. Because if you don't take ownership of your business, there's no way you're going to build a culture where everybody shows up, gets the job done, you get the job done early and you make money. It just doesn't work that way. Like, you have to take ownership of it. Because if you start taking ownership of it, people are going to see that. And they're going to follow your steps. And the ones that don't want to follow will leave. Like, you have to be willing to take ownership at a very drastic level of the results that you're looking for. It doesn't mean that you run over everybody. It means that you say, you know what, this is my fault. And people look at that. Instead of you talking the talk, you're starting to walk the walk. And it's that important that you take ownership of everything that you do in life. Because if you're not willing to take ownership, how are you going to grow? How are you going to go to the next level that you're trying to take your business to? You want your family to be like, if you want your family to be closer together, but yet you're not doing the things you need to do in the house, who's going to own that? You expect your wife to step up in your place? We weren't designed like that. There's things that women can do that we can never do. But we're also supposed to step up and show and lead our house and set a good example for everybody to follow. If you're not stepping up and showing a good example for your follow in your house, you dang sure ain't doing it for all the guys that work for you. And who are they supposed to follow? Your lead is not a good one. And you wonder why they're doing bad stuff. Or they're not getting the job done right. Or they're not doing it right. Guess what? They just following your lead. But you mad at them. But you won't look at yourself and go, nope, this was my fault. I did not set a good example. I did not communicate what I know I needed to communicate. I did not set the bar high enough for everybody to follow. Like, you have to set the bar high, and it has to be from within and what you're doing. Because if you show off that, hey, I'm going to set the bar, I'm going to own all of my mistakes, and it's okay to tell people you make mistakes. Hell, I do all the time. I've made some big ones in the past and in the present. And I go, man, that hurt. But you know what? I have to own those mistakes. It'd be really easy for me to blame someone else. But I don't. Because you know what? It's my fault at the end of the day. It's my business. It's my family. I have to own it if it's not going right. It's something that I did not do, that I know I should have probably done. So you have to own everything that you do. If you're not going to own it, someone else is going to own it and take it a different direction than you want to. So it's that important that you start owning everything that you do in your life and start looking inwards instead of looking outwards. When you start looking inwards, you're going to grow and start to become the man that you know you need to become in order to take your life and your business to a whole new level. Once you start doing that and you start fixing inside here, then you start fixing what's on the outside. But it all has to start here first. There's no way that you can take your business and your life to a whole different level if you're not willing to look inside first, because it's so easy to point outwards. And if we're going to point outwards, we're not going to get to where we want to get to. It's just not going to happen. So we have to own it first. And once we own it, then we can do something about it. So just take ownership of your failures and the things you do right, so that way you can build upon them and do even more. But it all starts with ownership, guys. So like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.